Happy Friday, my friends. TGIF. And in fact, to date myself, do you guys remember TGIF growing up? I do. Every Friday night, we'd be watching like Steve Urkel and Family Matters and Full House. And what's interesting is in both those shows, my girls now watch the original Family Matters, and they've seen all episodes, all seasons. And then the Fuller House. I don't know if you guys know this, but DJ and Stephanie, they've all grown up and they now have their own kids and they made a Fuller House version, which is fantastic. I've seen those episodes as well. So anyway, check those out if you want to. But let's get on with less entertaining stuff. Although I got good news for the first time in a few weeks. Rates have started coming down. That's a good thing. So 7.28, that may not seem like a whole big improvement, but to go from 7.4, whatever it was, to 7.2, we'll take any kind of good luck. And here's what it looks like. You guys can see again, green is good. Remember, going up means lower rates. That is good. We got beat up. You can see where we were living the last couple of weeks. The only bad news you see today, the big candlestick on the right, the green one, it is Friday. The reason why we waited today versus yesterday is because today, the first Friday of every month, is job reports. And it actually came out and helped us a little, which is why you're seeing the rates pop up. The problem, we're now bumping up against that 50-day moving average. And then you see that blue 200-day moving average going right through it. We'll see. I just, unfortunately, we may drift back down. We'll see, because that's that 200-day. You got to stay above it convincingly to kind of stay there. With that 50-day hitting us as well, that's going to be tough. But as I said, today, Friday, job reports came out and there weren't as many jobs created as initially expected. That's a good thing, because a cooler job market means that typically people would lay people off, which is not good, but it means people then spend less, which means inflation won't go as high, which means when inflation comes down, the Fed can then lower their rates. So all this to say, only 175,000 jobs when the estimate was 240. That's a good thing. We'll take it. The other thing, the reason why Jay Powell's pictured here, he reported, or the Fed technically had their meeting this week. And on Wednesday, they basically said they're keeping rates as is. They took raising rates off the table to some degree. They basically kind of said they think rates are where they need to be. So while it's not a cut, it is at least saying, hey, we're going to keep things as is until we see weaker jobs, which that's why today was a good day, weaker jobs and lower inflation. So we're moving in the right direction as of officially today. We've been moving in the wrong direction for most of this calendar year. Average credit card APR. So this does, the Fed does impact these type of rates, but it's interesting. You guys can just kind of see the average rate apparently is 20.6. I just thought that was interesting. Thought I'd share it. Consumer confidence with a 20% credit card interest rate and credit cards being at an all-time high as far as the balance is, there's no reason to expect that consumers be feeling really good about that. So it is dropping again, and is at a 21-month, so call it almost a 2-year low. You guys can see some charts if you want to, but the customers have said over the next 6 months, this is how they plan to reduce their spending. So food away from home, meaning going out to eat, clothing, entertainment away from home, vacations. I assume entertainment away from home could be like movies and things like that, going to movie theater, vacations, groceries. Hard to, and that's why it's in red, hard to cut down on groceries. You can maybe eat a little less, or maybe you don't go to Whole Foods and, you go to a different grocery store instead, maybe, but alcohol, you'd think that'd go up. Joking, sort of. Home buying, veterans. This is going to be contrary to what I'm about to show you, but the veteran community, apparently year over year, is that more veterans, for those that they surveyed, said they think they're going to buy a home as early as September 2024. So that's this year. And about at least 42% of them said they expect to. So I thought that was interesting. The veterans apparently are feeling really good, and they should, because those rates are great. And they should be, because we love our vets. But the rest of the community, the civilians, there's a lot of bad things going on in terms of cost. Rising insurance premiums. I just thought this was interesting. Texas, in the last 5 years, has basically seen about a 60% increase in mortgage or insurance premiums. I thought that was pretty remarkable. You guys can see the little coloring up top. California, has a big increase, but Texas is about as black as you get. So there you go. Home prices, they are up. We've been saying it. You've heard us for years, last 2, 3, 4, 5 years saying it, but they're going to continue to keep going up. They're up 6.4% this time compared to last year. So in 1 year, they've gone up 6%, a little over. They're going to keep going up. Just little, insider knowledge for you. They're going to keep going up. It is what it is. What's interesting, despite the rising insurance premiums, despite the rising house payments, for some way, somehow, it's not translating a ton in terms of the actual mortgage application payments for purchases. So it's kind of been relatively flat. So in other words, people are still buying despite all that stuff. Good for them. Here's a new, I'm segmenting, I'm taking some of the slides that don't transition well, and I'm just calling it a did you know area. Apparently in Florida, I've been seeing articles all over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe it's just my news feed, but their inventory is way up. Apparently, just a lot of people want to sell and get out for some reason, or at least get rid of their homes. Tampa, Orlando, and Jacksonville, their inventory is way, way up. So that's good and bad. You want inventory because we all need it. But the reality is, if it's just all in one state, that's probably not good for the Sunshine State. Total debt. If you guys don't know this, we add about $1 trillion every 100 days to our debt in terms of interest because we just have so much debt and the rates have gone up so much that it is now expensive to carry all of our debt. So I was wondering, and I saw this, and it's kind of thinking to myself, I heard it on a podcast. So I went and found this stat on the right side. Where does the U.S. make their money? Like, how do we pay all this back? 84% comes from individual and payroll taxes. 84%. Corporate, meaning corporations, they pay about 9%. And then other taxes for just random things is about 7%. But I just never seen that breakdown. Thought I'd share it with you. Found it a little interesting. Basically they have the generic Americans paying 84% of the bill, and then taxes going to companies and other things is the rest. Let's have some fun. Saw this article, and who knew? Apparently, there's the fastest plane ever coming out. The Blackbird was the first one. I think this is like the Blackbird 2 or whatever they're calling it. Go over 4,000 miles per hour. So I looked this up. So son of a Blackbird, that's the next one. Son of a Blackbird can take you from like Dallas, Texas over to like, it was almost Russia. In a matter of an hour. It was crazy. It's just absolutely insane. Maybe it was New York to Russia. I don't remember, but I looked it up this week, and it's just, technology is amazing. Warren Buffett, he's not immune. So you may or may not know this. Home Services of America, you guys know he owns that, under that umbrella. He's had to pay $250 million for this National Association of Real Estate lawsuit for Warren. 10 states and cities that pay you to move there. These were the top ones we put. But if you move to these states or cities, there's apparently money out there potentially for you to get paid to move there. So I don't know the details because quite honestly, none of them have the initials of TX behind it. So I'm not real concerned. But if you're moving to Lincoln, Kansas or Newton, Iowa, by gosh, look it up and you can get paid to move there apparently. Who knew? And for today's Chasing Excellence, the sales tip, what I was talking to my team about and what I've been working on a lot in the last 4 or 5 months with my coach is having your filters, right? Or a marketing avatar. Like, who are you going after, both in terms of your client? Like, we've all done loans for clients or loans or transactions, right? Dude, I like that person. Well, do your best to start marketing to that person and marketing to people like that person. Like, talk to your entire database as if it's that one person, because that messaging will resonate a lot louder than it would with somebody else that's not your person. So have higher funnels, because we have loans where we do them for folks who are like, man, we shouldn't have said yes to that loan. Like, that just wasn't our person. It's not a good experience. They close on time, everything's fine, but we don't enjoy, they beat us up, and it's just one of those things. They're not our people. But same thing with your referral partners. Check who you're working with, check with your friends. Are there any of your friends that are not meeting your funnels for what you need? Because ultimately, birds of a feather, man. So if you go after somebody who's really, really good and they refer you somebody, chances are they're going to refer you somebody really, really good. So really hone those marketing efforts in and just make sure you're talking to the people that you know, like, and trust. And in turn, they know, like, and trust you. And I promise you, it'll make your life significantly better when you do that. Our meme of the week, little insider joke here on the Mortgage Mark team, but for what it is, I was a bad boy. I needed groceries, but this happened. It shows like a bag of cheese. The insider joke on the Mortgage Mark team is under the influence of a few glasses of wine. I once tried to buy one of those big Parmesan wheels. I think it's like $3 or $4 grand. Fortunately, there was nobody to help me, and I didn't get to buy it. Didn't even get to talk to anybody. So that is a blessing. I don't know that I would have paid it because I didn't know it was that much at the time. But that's part of the reason why this is funny. So follow us on social. They're not all insider jokes. We'd love to share some with you. We appreciate you as always. Have a great and wonderful weekend. Happy Cinco de Mayo. That's coming up on Sunday. So enjoy a margarita and have a great week, and we'll see you next week.